podcast, episode number 89. You're joining myself, Chris, alongside the techie teacher himself, Mr. Tom.
What's up, Internet?
And below
I haven't
him,
said that for a while.
I know, it's weird. And below him, I said it on Thursday, but I might start using it now. The cloud meat between our sandwich.
Oh, please don't make that a thing.
Right, I'm out. Sorry, guys.
Okay. And he's gone. The, of course, the man of many pixels returns once again. Mr. Ritchie.
Hello.
How are you? Salty
I'm
this
okay.
morning? Like a piece of bacon?
Like a piece of pastrami.
Of course, you're joining us for the Sounds of Stadia podcast, the longest running Stadia podcast this side of Google Maps, where we bring you all of the Stadia and gaming news rounded up for your listening and viewing pleasure here at youtube.com/Sounds of Stadia, and of course available on podcast services up there in the digital cloud. We have a phenomenal show for you guys this week. We had a crazy show last week, and thank you once again, you two best friends, for hosting. Thank you very much. It was lovely listening to it all back and ingesting all this Stadia news in my time throughout the week. But I'm back. I'm here to run through it. And like I said, we've got an absolute summer blockbuster show for people. I think we've said it a few times, this must be the longest show. But this, ladies and gentlemen, must be the longest show. Our doc spans 2 pages this week. So much news. We're going to be covering all of the E3 and Summer Game Fest schedule drops that have happened finally, so we know what we're covering and what you guys get to see over the next couple of days. We've got Ubisoft going massively huge on Stadia once again with the launch of Ubisoft Plus and some new exciting title announcements and some extra new features arriving on Stadia right now. In and amongst that, all these games, Stadia-related announcements, ratings, all that other stuff. It's such a fun week to talk about, and I'm glad that I'm back for it, because I missed you guys last week.
Oh,
I really did. It was strange. It was that kind of like, we've had such a consistent run throughout lockdown. We kind of just done it all the week in our listeners, and it was like, I actually got my days of, you know, when you have a bank holiday, actually it was a bank holiday ironically enough, and it messes up the rest of your week because it's shorter.
Yeah.
Not having something I've done every Sunday for the last 88 weeks as part of like my Sunday cycle threw me for an absolute loop.
I think the only time we haven't actually recorded on like a weekend, it would be like over Christmas, where we usually take a week off, but we usually have a show back in ready to publish anyway.
Very true. I was so excited by the news as well. Like, you guys got to cover Control.
We did.
That's awesome. We're getting Control. That's awesome.
I was so gutted for you not being there for that. Like,
Yeah.
I did listen to it. We got Ark for the summer announced, which I think is still a bit shit, if I'm honest. Like, they could have just given us a date or told us prior, then like, it's like, it's summer now. Have you seen the weather we've had in the UK this week? That's a rare instance in its own right. So yeah, we could have Ark by the end of the month, I guess. We're getting Sonic in the worst way possible. As a mascot in the Olympics.
That one's
it must pave. I can't imagine Sega want their IP on this platform and not bring more across. I think it's just probably a time thing with Luna or something. There'll be a deal.
I don't think this is anything. I think that Sonic was coming to this game, and the game happened to just be on Stadia. That's all that is.
Yeah,
it's like, I wouldn't expect anything from it, unfortunately.
It's just that biggest irony that the trailer they put out on the official Stadia YouTube channel was for the Sonic featurette of the mascot, and it's like, that's how he's going to arrive. Okay. And of course, we got some more information, a massive like featurette on FarCry 6, which I'm hyped for. That's, I think, my next... After Ratchet and Clank, which comes up this week, obviously not on Stadia, Far Cry 6 is my next big one. And of course, we'll get into all that because we've got some Ubi Plus news as well. But it's crazy. We've got our E3 Games Fest schedule. We will be covering it. We'll cover that, funnily enough, a little bit more as the news rolls out. And a little bit of housekeeping for you folks who are listening and watching along. Don't forget to click like, subscribe down below, and hit that notification bell so you are kept in the loop with all things Sounds of Stadia, because we do more than just a weekly podcast. We play games every week, every Thursday, and this past week we all jumped aboard the 2-wheel deathmobiles that are MotoGP bikes, and we certainly spent more time in the gravel, on the ground, face planting than we did, I think, upright actual racing, gentlemen.
Yeah, I'm not good at that
I think
game.
that's fair.
MotoGP, not our sport, I think we can safely agree. We started to get the hang of it, or some of us did at least.
No,
but
I didn't.
it was a good bit of fun. We had lots of laughs, and we definitely learned something. And thank you to all the people. I think we had like 30 participants at one point racing and playing along with us this past Thursday. So amazing stuff. Don't forget though, every Thursday we usually play games, or we always have something on the channel, 8 p.m. UK time. So go check that one out. Obviously, Let's Plays, live videos. We do loads of stuff here, but yeah, check out the rest of the channel if you are so inclined, because we've got loads of stuff coming up this week. But gentlemen, I mentioned busy show. So really quickly this week, what you've been playing. Tom, go.
Destiny 2.
Richie, go.
Mass Effect and jump back into Ace.
Mass Effect for me as well. I think I'm very much at the end, but we'll go through that on another day, because we don't have time for non-Stadia news this week, folks.
Yeah.
It's a crazy busy one. So Tom, will you do me the honours once again?
Naturally, it's got to be the super sexy special Stadia Story segment, aka the news.
And what a week of news it is. What a week. It's the week for news, actually, because it's summer, it's gaming, the most pivotal point of the year, when we probably this time next week, fast forward 7 days, there's going to be so much news and announcements and reveals and trailers out there to watch. Like, you don't need to watch any TV or Netflix this week. You could just tune into all of this coverage from either ourselves or the gaming industry, because it's going to get hot out there. Starting things off.
Part of the year for the gamers.
Oh, it really is. Like, I loved, like, when I started to really get into gaming, E3 was like, when they used to do the big massive events, was just like, it's just a gamer's dream. It's every time you glance at your phone, there's just a new story or something juicy to read into and look into, and be excited for and hyped. And
the thing is, we're getting all this news, and it's not E3 yet.
Yeah, it's crazy. We've got leaks to go through.
Start.
We've got schedules. We've got announcements, pre-news. It's absolutely crazy. So then, let's kick things off. I think for our coverage in particular, before we get into the nitty-gritty of what's happening, we have plenty of coverage coming your way as well. So it may change. We do have to be flexible with this, because at the end of the day, we are 3 adults who have full-time jobs and other responsibilities outside of that, families and friends and such. Summer of Games Fest kicks off this Thursday, June 10th. Our usual slot for gaming for our live stream will be taken up by that. We're going to watch Jeff Keighley with his kick-off event. Going to host that. Come by, stop by and watch us, because we are actually official co-streamers of the event as well. We've got approval from Jeff. Jeff himself reached out to us via email, and I say that with a joking tone. However, when you do read the email, it is actually Jeff Keighley's address. Obviously, it's not probably his personal one, but he's in there with some other guy.
It's his assistant who's drafted the email. He's read through and went, yeah, that's fine.
That's cool.
Send that to everyone.
So we'll be covering Summer of Games Fest. We'll be covering the Koch Media event, which as well, we're going to get into that a little bit in the news as well, but we'll be covering that. So June 11th, 8 p.m. British Standard Time. Check out that one as well. We've got the Ubisoft Forward, which I think explicitly we know is going to feature Stadia, because they said it in the community blog, which we'll also cover in a short while. So that's probably the highlight of the week, that we're guaranteed to get some Stadia news.
Would say so.
But due to like the publishing deals and other games on the platform, we're covering the other events that we will perceive to include some Stadia stuff. So sorry everyone, we're not covering the Xbox event or the Nintendo event, I know. But we will be watching it as fans. We'll be watching it as fans.
Yeah, I'm definitely watching them.
100%. We also have on June the 13th, the Square Enix Presents, the second one, I believe. We know about the games coming to Stadia. Square Enix have been great supporters of Stadia as well. So June 13th, 8 p.m. as well. Check that one out. And then so much more. There is some little interstitial bits mixed in with that regarding, I think, Gearbox are in there too, and Devolver Digital. We won't be covering them necessarily. They might just be an attachment to the other live streams that we've got going. But essentially, our schedule is crazy. It looks huge. Yep. Summer Games Fest kicking off Thursday, roughly around the same time we usually do a game stream anyway. Then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So busy week for us. Busy week for you.
4 days of streams from us, essentially. Yeah. So look forward to it.
I'm excited. I'm genuinely excited. It's again, we get to talk about the thing that we're passionate about, and that's awesome. And the fact that it's just going to be bang, 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 day. Awesome stuff. In turn, which means next week's podcast, episode number 90, is going to be fantastic as well, because it's definitely not going to be one of those slow January episodes, guys, where we're scraping the barrel for stories. This is going to be hit after hit after hit. So, like Tom said, let's get into the news. So, E3 was finally given an official schedule this week. They've left it so late. I can't believe that the E3 company, is it the ESA, I think, who run them?
Yes, ESA.
They've had all year to get their shit together after last year's collapse when COVID took over. And they've managed to wrangle in the likes of Microsoft and all these other big companies to actually take part on their own kind of presence, I guess, this year. And they've left it until a week before to get a schedule out. And even after they put the schedule out, they've still got critiques saying, no, we want like times. We don't just want like who's there. We need to know the actual times of these events so we can host it.
Yeah, we've got to cover this stuff.
When to look out for it. So, I quote from the article on e3expo.com. As E3 2021 gets ready to kick off this Saturday, June 12th, the official schedule has been revealed. Fans, etc. Yeah. Essentially, we've got E3 kickoff event with Ubisoft and Gearbox Entertainment. We've got Sunday, Microsoft Bethesda Showcase, which is going to be an interesting one to watch again. Is we won't be covering it, but we've theorized before on, I think it was a SideQuest episode maybe, Bethesda's future relationship with Stadia.
Yeah.
Because now they are in that Microsoft wheelhouse, we genuinely, I think, don't really know what to expect. Like, will Google have had contracts with Microsoft ahead of time to say, like, but I guess they couldn't have even future-proofed for Microsoft dropping $8 billion on acquiring them, so I guess we'll find out. I guess we really will find out. There is something in there about Warner Brothers as well are going to be there, so we expect to see like Back 4 Blood, but Warner Brothers have been a bit hands-off on Stadia, I think, as well. They've not really embraced it anywhere near as much as anyone else has. But then at the same time, they've also not had any games out, I don't think.
Yeah.
All the Batman ones got pushed back. There's a PC gaming showcase. There's a couple of indie things sprinkled throughout. Take-Two Interactive have something as well. Bandai Namco have a slot, and in and amongst that, and the Nintendo Direct. So, mentioned it at the top of the news, but we just wanted to cover everything. It's going to be hosted by 3 people. But with it being a virtual event, I'm guessing they're just going to go over to this link and then provide the link maybe in the stream or broadcast it themselves.
Yeah. My expectation is going to be more of a collection of like press conferences, like pre-recorded press conferences, rather than a traditional like E3 where there's like a stage and someone comes on and does all the presenting stuff.
Yeah,
but
it's a bit of a curious one because I'm sure once the world returns to normal, this will all be hopefully an event. But it all kind of started to collapse, I think, when Sony backed out 3 years ago now, and then they lost one of their biggest presence, who took up pretty much a whole day unto themselves. And it's great that they've managed to wrangle them in, but I do get the feeling that like Nintendo and Microsoft, they're only playing ball because they don't have to do anything. Nintendo's still going to host their video on their channel. Microsoft is still going to host theirs on the Microsoft channels. It's just kind of like umbrellaed by E3, but they don't really need to be there.
Well, Nintendo for a long time have been just doing a big Nintendo Direct for E3 anyway.
Yeah, they're not part of it. Don't they just do it the day after or something, or the week before?
Yeah, Nintendo are very much ahead of the curve on this.
Going digital all the time. But exciting stuff, and we should probably mention as well the Jeff Keighley Summer Game Fest is, in my opinion, the true kickoff event, because that starts on the Thursday. And this is where we have kind of the industry's fractured, because Jeff obviously hosts the Game Awards. He's got a lot of pull in the industry, evidently. Yeah. And he's kind of doing his own thing right now, but they overlap. So we've got GameFest kicks off on the Thursday, and then that's then interstitial with E3 stuff. And because it's all virtual, it's not actually at an event. It seems like it's all just mix-match together.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's quite weird, but I think Jeff Keighley is being very open, saying like, just because it's at Summer Games Fest doesn't mean it's not going to be at E3. We don't really care if the developers want to push the stuff wherever they want to push it.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, again, I think it's just an event to keep fans entertained, isn't it? Really, but like people who are genuinely gamers, it's just to give them something year on year, and I think it's the right thing to do, to be honest. But you know, Jeff and the team do put a lot of effort into it, so I'm still excited to see some stuff, because there are some exhibitors there who aren't going to be at E3. So.
Yeah, he's got some deals locked down, has Jeff. So interesting stuff, and like I said, we'll have coverage of that, and no doubt we'll be tweeting about it. Any big story that drops, we'll be retweeting and like sharing our hype for that as well. So don't forget to do follow us over on Twitter as well, which we don't really shout that out that often, but we have the Sounds of Stadia Twitter handle, but we also have our individual ones. I'm at CyberChris2077. Tom, you are
at AdaxisLP.
And Richie, you are
Richie C89.
So go follow us if you want. And of course, if you do want some E3 chatter, we also have our Discord, where there's an awesome little community growing in there, where we talk about games all week long. Even last night, we were just talking about all the E3 audio issues, Richie. We were sharing our experiences.
Audio issues,
What did I say?
E3 audio issues.
I mean, we don't know.
E3 on the brain.
E3 on the brain, yeah, Mass Effect. So go check out, join Discord. It's in the link below if you want to chat all about E3 as the actual event's going on, and then we'll recap it there and then. So, nice segue into the kind of next story of the week is E3 has a Ubisoft forward mixed in with the whole bunch. And from the official Ubisoft channel, they've said the show starts at 12 o'clock, 8 p.m. UK time. Remember to check out our channel for the coverage. They have said it's almost time for the latest edition of a Ubisoft Forward, an exclusive event where you can get the most up-to-date news on Ubisoft's live and upcoming games. In and amongst that, it's weird because now we get Ubisoft Forwards almost every quarter. They've almost taken the position of Stadia Connects for me, because we get them as regular as we would like the Connects, and because they help Stadia out so much with their support, it almost is everything that's announced at Ubisoft. There is a high chance it'll come over. This event, though, looks like it's going to cover a bit more FarCry 6, a couple of large chunks of Rainbow Six Siege, which is why we should point out that on the community blog this week, they explicitly said, Rainbow Six Siege, check out the Ubisoft Forward this week. Richie, I'll throw it over you first. What do you think the Siege Stadia specific drop is going to be at this Ubisoft Forward?
Well, the Siege one is, I think it's just going to be Siege is coming to Stadia. It's going to be, we're going to get probably information about the next season of Siege, which is what I'd expect to be there anyway. And then it's coming to cloud platforms such as Stadia, probably Luna, probably GeForce Now if it's not already over there. But yeah, I'm not really expecting anything massive, just that it's coming and this is when it's coming. Same with For Honor, to be honest.
Oh yeah, For Honor, because that was a...
I mean, the Forward website says quite clearly that it says, so what we can expect to see is, as Chris said already, Far Cry 6, we can expect to see the newest updates on Rainbow Six Siege, For Honor, Trackmania, The Crew 2, Brawlhalla, WatchDogs Legion. But the thing that I think we might be glossing over a little bit is... catch all of the details about the next mainline entry in the Rainbow Six franchise, formerly known as Rainbow Six Quarantine.
Finally.
Yeah.
The one more thing I think we might see from Siege is the next gen parts as well.
Oh yeah,
quite possibly. Yeah, you would expect so at this point.
But, yeah.
Do we, in and amongst that, do we suspect it's going free to play?
Yeah.
And we
I
know
do.
You guys covered it last week, right? The tested crossplay.
Yes.
So I think that has to happen with Stadia and cloud launch, right? Like Luna need it as well as Stadia. If it's going, my suspicion is it's going to go free to play. Like next gen is just, we're going to announce it for PS5. Well, we're going to show you the Xbox PS5 versions. It's now in cloud too, and it's all crossplay because Siege is so big now. I think it needs it, especially on these platforms, to just like help keep the community nice and tight knit. And if we get some Quarantine, what was the other name that it was given briefly? It was Quarantine or Parasite was one of the leak things when they came out and said, no, it's not called Parasite, that's just some concept naming. And it was like, right, it's probably going to be renamed Parasite, but okay. There can't be any worse names they can pick for it. Rainbow Six COVID-19 kind of
COVID-19.
How do you think Rainbow Six Quarantine is a good name for a game? It's just
I know,
unfortunately
it's
timed.
yeah, very unfortunate and Rainbow Six Pfizer, something like that. But exciting stuff. Exciting stuff. Riders Republic, again, we're going to hear more about Far Cry in particular. But I think the big exciting thing about anything Ubisoft we've alluded to before is just the sheer support that they've given Stadia. And we've said on the podcast many times that Ubisoft just get cloud gaming. They know with their own Ubisoft Connect and the Ubisoft Plus setup, they know it's around to stay. They're in the midst of porting what seems to be the majority of the library across this cloud platform, and I think it makes business sense for them. It's great for cloud gaming like Stadia and Luna and any upcoming new ones like Walmart cloud gaming or whatever. I've heard rumours about that kicking off.
I think just Ubisoft don't care where you play the games as long as you're playing their games.
100%. And that started this week, gentlemen, with the rollout of Ubisoft Plus to more places that does not include just the US. It rolled out across Europe. It's exciting. I have it. It works. I made a short video about it, a very short video for the channel. So if you were curious about how to get set up with Ubisoft Plus, check out the video on the channel for that. It's literally like 1 minute to get you in, because you go to Ubisoft site, sign up, step 1, step 2, go to Stadia, link your account, done. Play games, your library updates, and
you can even do it the other way around now through the Stadia app. If you actually go through your profile into the settings menu, you can see there's an Ubisoft Plus button there. They've even added on the store on the app now like a big Ubisoft Plus section at the top to see details. If you click on that, you can click Get Started. It links your account straight away if you've played a Ubisoft game. And then it directs you straight to the website ready to pay. So it is just as simple as that now, just like a few button presses.
That's fantastic. And it's been a long time coming, and I think everyone in Europe was like quickly running around going, it works for me, it doesn't work for me, because it worked before the official announcement, as the case usually goes with Stadia news. But the way in which my library exploded when I got that link was like, awesome. And anyone out there, I will say, anyone out there who's an achievement hunter, if you've got your cloud save for Ubisoft Connect and you boot up the game on Stadia, yes, all the achievements start to pop one after another for like immediate effect. So,
wow.
Sorry, a JP who's over at Stadia Hunters now must be all his stats must be going all over the place, because everyone's suddenly porting the games over from Xbox and PC and PlayStation. So yes, I now have essentially the equivalent of a platinum for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Tom, with like minimum work.
But
I say minimum work. It was still 125 hours on my PS5, but
yeah, but now you have two.
Now I have two achievements, indeed. But kicking things off then with Ubisoft, we should get into probably the biggest news of the week. That's Stadia specific, and that was the community blog this week, because they doubled their hell down on Ubisoft games, and we'll run through them, and then we'll pick out our particular favourites, because it's a big show, and I know on other weeks we might spend every single minute of the show breaking down these games, but to run them through, we've got Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which I'm so excited about. Huge title.
Less so.
Those warships, followed by Assassin's Creed Rogue, Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered, Far Cry 4, Far Cry Primal, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, Rainbow Six Siege, Child of Light, and Rayman Legends, all coming to Stadia soon. And that's a stellar list of AAA titles that go many years back, and I couldn't be... That was my decision made about Ubisoft Plus. I know, Richie, you've been quite vocal about saying there's games that you try out but you don't want to commit the full price to, and especially like the bigger ones. And that's the great thing with Ubisoft Plus. You can just bounce in, try a few games, and if nothing takes your fancy, or you finish the game in question, you just cancel your subscription. So easy. So Richie, then we'll start with you. Out of these particular titles, what stands out to you? What's your immediate go-to out of these?
It was actually something that I was surprised to see, and it's Child of Light, because that game is a very, very good game. I played it on PlayStation 4 a couple of years back. And yeah, really good game. So it's one you definitely shouldn't sleep on.
Give us a quick rundown of what it's actually about, because it's the one title on there that I have not played, but it's also the only title on there I know nothing about, other than it's a Ubisoft it's like an indie.
Test me, yeah. So it's been a while since I've played.
I can give you the synopsis from the blog.
Yeah, read the synopsis.
Child of Light, published by Ubisoft Entertainment. Aurora, a young girl from 1895 Austria, awakens on the lost fairy tale continent of Lemuria. To return home, she must fight against the dark creatures of the Queen of the Night, who have stolen the sun, the moon, and the stars. At stake, it's not only Lemuria, but Aura's destiny.
It looks like a big cross for me between Lost Words and like something like Mario, like the Paper Mario RPG and stuff like that, the Super Mario RPGs.
Yeah, that's not a bad way to put it. To be honest, it does have that turn-based combat, which I actually really like. But but it does kind of have a kind of Lost Wordsy vibe to it. It's a bigger game than Lost Words, though.
Yeah, great.
Because it is one of those little Ubisoft indie. It's kind of like Valiant Hearts, where it's like a smaller, like kind of side project just to test out a new IP in a different art style. Yeah. And they usually come out fantastic. Like same we've said before with the EA original games, the smaller titles do really, really well. And yeah, this is the only one I've not really checked out, so I'm excited to see it.
It's got some Metroidvania elements to it as well. Like
excellent.
As you get power ups to unlock new areas, that sort of stuff.
What game doesn't have Metroidvania elements as of now? So that's Child of Light, and thanks to Ubisoft Plus, that's something that I probably wouldn't have bought, but I'll definitely check out now because I love me some Ubisoft games. Tom, how about you? What stands out for you out of that list?
There's one on that list that immediately stands out to me, and that is Rayman Legends. I mean, come on, seriously. Like, it's just going to take me back right to my heydays of, like, you know, first consoles playing the original Rayman. Mm-hmm. But if I'm correct, you can also play this co-op too. So I just can't wait to jump in and actually play it, like get back into the Rayman vibes. It's just going to take me way back, so I'm super excited for that.
This is the one where you play Black Betty, isn't it, on one of the opening levels with like the drum beats. As you're running off, it starts doing all the beats. Go on, Richie, sing it. Go for it. Rock it out.
You've done it.
Because I'm a huge fan of like the OG Rayman, like PlayStation 1 Rayman and 2, and then like naturally as a kid, your parents don't buy them, so you stop getting the newer entries in the series because you focus on other things. But this is the one that is this the first one that introduced the kind of like as a team collective of different characters outside of just him, and it had like a great musical element to it, which is why I distinctly remember Black Betty being played in it. So fun. And in all the title as well, I was actually curious when all this list got announced, the sheer distance that Ubisoft are willing to go back in the library for these particular games. The one that definitively stood out for me, aside from Rayman Legends being an old one, was Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. That's 20... I played that on the PlayStation 3. That's how long ago it was, and it's a phenomenal game if you've not checked it out. It's got that very cyberpunk, like 80s synth pop vibe. The character, actually, the main character, who's it's Captain Rex Colt. He's got like a proper 80s thingy name. Takes place in the year 2007. Actually, his name will be in the blog. But he's voiced by the guy who plays Kyle Reese in the original Terminator movie. So they've got like an 80s action hero back as well to do it. Sergeant Rex Colt. That's it. So classic. It's tongue-in-cheek humour. Everything's neon, but there are blood dragons, Richie, which are giant Tyrannosaurus creatures that shoot lasers from their mouth.
Seems reasonable.
And there are the enemies, the wildlife. There's cassorais. Yeah. And if you don't know what a cassorai is, it's like a giant ostrich / velociraptor, and it will kill you. It will mess you up. But yeah, you have neon archery and lasers and bombs and cybernetics. It's so cool. And the music in this, the soundtrack is just stellar.
Someone who's homage to the 1980s.
Oh, totally. And ironically enough, it all takes place in 2007.
Yeah.
After the Cyber Wars.
This is just Ubisoft basically, as I've been saying for a while, they're porting everything across the Stadia. That way it gives like Ubisoft Plus more value. Mm-hmm. And they just want everything everywhere.
Are these the oldest games then on Stadia, 2013?
Oh, maybe.
I'm thinking the library. I can't think. Hotline Miami, maybe giving them a run for their money with age, like the original Hotline Miami.
Yeah, possibly.
But it's just great to see that we get these old titles, like this new, fresh, like vein of life, and you can play them without any tech. Like I said, this is available on PlayStation 3. I don't need to now get my old console out, find the cables, hook it up, see if I've got the right ports on my new TVs to play an awesome game that I would have probably never gone back to playing. And now I can play it on my phone, my tablet, out in the car, anywhere. It's great, and I really want you guys to check it out as well, because I can't stress how fun Blood Dragon is. In and amongst that, we also got some other Far Cry spin-offs. Far Cry Primal, again, they took away all the guns, all the grenades, and you got rocks and spears and stone clubs, and I really enjoyed this game as well. It takes place in the Stone Age, very, very different. It got a bit of shit at the time because it took Far Cry 4's map and essentially reskinned it into what became Far Cry Primal. You can't tell when you play the game. You're not walking around going, hang on a minute, that they do a great job of kind of masking it with different foliage and landscape textures. They did it with their New Dawn, where they covered everything in like bright pink flowers and stuff. So no two places look alike.
I think it's one of them. You get a pass if you just open about it. It's like, it's basically we've done it. We've reskinned the map. We've put all this stuff. We changed all the story, all the story elements, etc. And we've completely changed how the game plays because now you have a spear.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And if you need any more reason to like it, you get a saber-toothed tiger as your buddy. To run through the wilds with you, and you fight mammoths and stuff, and it's just different. It's like, realistically, outside of Ark, I don't think we've got many games that live in that kind of time period that don't have a first-person game that doesn't have guns. Very rare by today's standards. It's not a walking simulator anywhere. So yeah, check out that one on Ubi Plus. I don't want to shy away too much from Far Cry 4 as well, because it's arguably one of the best in the series. Troy Baker as Pagan Min, the bad guy. Really good antagonist, and the world they create around the Himalayas, fantastic. In the DLC, you get to fight a Yeti. So
brilliant.
You trip out on drugs and fly as well. There's like classic Far Cry action, but great stuff. It's actually the first Far Cry game I fully played and platinum, and then I went back to Far Cry 3 and then Blood Dragon. Yeah. So backwards way of doing it, I know. And obviously we mentioned it before, but Rainbow Six Siege. We knew that was coming. It's nice to see it official though now. We've had it we've had it ESRB rated several times, it feels like now, but now on the blog there is legit a poster for Rainbow Six Siege, and they've said again, look towards the Ubisoft Forward event for more detail and information on that. We've already theorised about that, so they actually do say in the blog tune in Saturday for E3, so that's good to know. Again, kind of weird that Stadia haven't announced anything to do. I know we mentioned it on 2 weeks ago on the podcast, but how they've not came out yet. All this we mentioned all this excitement around the games industry, and they're yet to come out and say, yeah, we've got a Connect that's going to be at the same time, or we'll be dropping some news. Do you think they're literally just going to take an approach of when stuff gets announced, they'll just drop a trailer on the YouTube channel?
Yeah, and I think it's a terrible approach. For me, they should be at E3. They should be in the top. If you go back to last week's SideQuest, where me and Tom, we went down all the list of the different things. I think it was Pinnacle was the top tier. Stadia should be in there. They should be alongside Nintendo and Xbox for me, shouting from the rooftops about their platform.
Definitely. I can see a world where in a couple of years, perhaps, but you are absolutely right. I feel like they should be there right now. But I think the approach that we can expect is that as and when games are announced with the Stadia tag on it, we'll see the YouTube videos going up. We'll see it in the next blog post, the following week too. So that's all I'm sort of waiting for. Trying not to get my hopes up too much about what to see, but hopefully.
Well, it's hard not to, isn't it?
Of course it is.
As gamers, we always want the next big thing, but it's weird because I'm safe in the knowledge that we will get a lot of these games, especially Ubisoft, but like all the other developers, we will see the majority of them probably make their way to Stadia. It's just that weird marketing thing we've always spoke about, where like, why don't they just grab it by the scruff of the neck and just like announce it and like shout from the rooftops that we are getting these titles just like everyone else, and especially with E3 being in Summer Games Fest being so digital, it would have been so easy to just go, can we have like this time slot? We'll even go last if you need us to, but just like direct them to our channel and we'll post a video up that's in collaboration with Jeff Keighley. And because like you can't imagine Google can have these conversations. They must have the relationships there to some degree.
How hard would it be to pull together like a half-hour Connect where you spend like 10 minutes going through the last 2 years and what they've learned, what went right, what went wrong, 10 minutes at the end going about, okay, this is what the future is, and then just a handful of games in the middle? Yeah. Like, it almost just pulls itself together. It's like... we could do it. Platform back in people's consciousness.
Yeah. We could generally do it. Like, to be fair, if you were to make a short video, you could use the first 5 minutes just covering what games are available on Pro to claim right now. So don't forget, this is Pro. There's the refer friends stuff, which we're going to talk about later on. Claim these 7 games. We've had titles like Jedi Fallen Order, Resident Evil, like really hype up the value of Pro. Now you can attach Ubisoft Plus to it as well, which I'm hoping they'll mention Ubisoft Plus to some degree at the Ubi Forward.
Yeah.
But and then highlight some things that are coming. Far Cry 6, like games that we know about, big titles. We know Riders Republic's coming. Talk about that.
Testimonials. Get some people who use the platform going, I use it I play FIFA on my way to work in the train as part of my commute on Stadia. Like,
but crazy stuff. But lots of games and absolutely huge news. Assassin's Creed Rogue, we've not even mentioned it. That's the one Assassin's Creed game I haven't fully committed to because it came out the same time as Unity. It was that cross-generational thing, so I naturally opted for the at the time was supposed to be the better one, and then Rogue ended up reviewing much better. It's the one I think you actually hunt down assassins rather than being assassins, so it's
you become a turncoat.
Very, very different to the traditional formula. Yeah. Back through New York.
Have you noticed we're getting closer to the Ezio collection?
Yes, that is the probably only one we're missing.
Releasing them in reverse order. the next Ubisoft games done. It's going to have like FarCry 3. It's going to have the Ezio collection.
I'm just glad that they finally now announced those games that were teased on the search bar post.
Yeah.
Remember that? Because we always said that's bullshit. Like they're going to come. Yeah, there they are.
You don't just have them assets lying around for no reason.
Exactly. Interestingly enough, you should mention that, Tom, because that nicely, fantastically, in fact, transitions over to our next story of the week. That's Ubisoft focused. This one comes from myself. I was clicking around, having a little play with Ubisoft Plus at the weekend, and when I was on the desktop version, I stumbled across a little piece of artwork for Steep. The snowboarding game, and it's not, if you didn't already know, it's not part of Ubisoft Plus. It wasn't announced for Stadia, but there, lo and behold, in and amongst all the Stadia, logged in, I was already logged in, scrolling through the game list, there was the artwork for Steep, sandwiched in between a bunch of other things, and I reached out to our friend Dan at Stadia Source and said, this could be a thing. And just like our Assassin's Creed theories, I think we get Steep in the next few months as well on Stadia.
I even think perhaps sooner than that.
Could be a pro game.
The thing is, it's already available on Luna, so it is there to play in the cloud. So it's just a case of, once again, I suppose, waiting for Ubisoft to make the necessary arrangements to get it ported across for Stadia. But great, I played it on PlayStation 4. Didn't play a lot of it. I relatively enjoyed it, but it's another game to add to the library.
Indeed it is. And I've seen a few people mention there's certain games that aren't on Ubisoft Plus, and I suspect that, I think like I don't know if Monopoly is or Uno, but I think that's something down. Or Just Dance was one I saw someone ask about on Twitter.
Yeah, Just Dance isn't.
I suspect that might be music licensing and having a music a music track as part of another subscription service, when there might be a deal with Spotify or something for that, and it's probably conflicting a little bit with it, or it's not worth having it on the subscription model because you'd have to renew the music license in a few years' time, and then that might cause problems for people who bought the game and they're not allowed to play it. And it's easy to just go, sorry, Just Dance, you're not going to be there.
It might just be whatever licensing deal they got with the publishers of the music. It probably just it has to be just a one-off. It has to be just a one-off purchase rather than continuous subscription.
Indeed. So that wraps up our Ubisoft news. Don't know why I paused for so long there.
Yeah.
I was going to say something about being a journalist now and leaving you two in the lurch and going to work for Stadia Source, but I don't think I have that much experience to do it.
You found Steep on
I did, yeah. I stumbled across it.
You shall be a journalist.
Deep dive.
Deep dive. Give me a deep dive into it. Right then, moving away from Ubisoft, we've got some more E3 coverage this year. That's going to be exciting, and it's an interesting one because out of nowhere, Koch Media, I wish they'd come out and just tell us how to pronounce their name. Yeah. Obviously, they have massive, like an absolute spider's web of studios out there, and we have quite a lot of the games actually on Stadia, but they've decided they're going to do a streaming event, and we're going to cover it for the first time ever. And there's so many studios under their umbrellas. We've got Deep Silver, Fish Labs. Basically, they're part of the Embracer Group. Dambuster Studios, Volition, Milestone, who made MotoGP, which we played last week as well. Warhorse, who developed Kingdom Come Deliverance. So there's tons of studios, and they're going to do an event this week as well, which we'll cover. I kind of just wanted to throw it out there to ask what you guys expect from this. It's not the Embracer Group, so we should point out it's not going to be like THQ Nordic, so like SpongeBob and Destroy All Humans. That's not there. We should point out as well, they have came out and already said they're not going to have anything for Metro, because these guys do also make the Metro games. Dead Island, I know Dead Island 2 is rumoured to be in development for it's in development hell. I think that game's stuck in limbo. They've already said, funnily enough, Saints Row. Nothing there for Saints Row, which has just recently came to Stadia, the remastered version, we should point out also. And we do know they're working on a new Saints Row game. They're just clearly not ready to talk about it. And they've also confirmed that there will be no Time Splitters news, because that Free Radical studio was only just announced, I think 2 episodes ago we covered it. So don't expect anything Time Splitters just yet. They have to hire their staff before they can create a game. So there's kind of not really much left. They do make the Monster Energy games that we love so much here. Red Faction, which I'd love to see make a proper resurgence. I love the Red Faction games from PS2, GameCube era. And Windbound we have on Stadia. And I think the only game where that isn't out yet is Chorus.
Yes.
That's the
Which
only
is one
title
that I'm really excited for.
So, Tom, I'll throw it over to you then. Aside from Chorus, Koch Media's Fest Big Event, what do you expect? Do you expect quality, or just they're going to hit us with everything?
No, it's a tricky one to sort of predict or to even fathom what might potentially come out of it. Like I say, I feel like even though you say like the only one there really for me that sticks out is Chorus. Like that is the big title that's going to be coming out this year. Other than that, I'm very sort of thin on the ground as to what to expect, really. I just expect to see more of that because it's going multi-platform. Yeah, who knows?
There's not.
I'm stumped.
Yeah, it's a hard one because they've got other IP like Homefront Revolution, but I think that died a death when it came out. Other than if like keeping the Saber Interactive stuff aside, which I don't think is going to be there. If we knew the story and they hadn't came out and said no Metro, no Saints Row, no Dead Island, that's what I would have theorized. So the fact they've came out and said no, that's not going to be there, it does have me bemused, but also curious to think we might see some new IP from them.
That's what gets me more excited. The fact that the biggest IP from that they own, they've told us aren't going to be there. So like, okay, let's see what you've got. Like, but because I don't have a clue what they might be showing yet at the moment. And with Tom's like, I really don't know. I have no idea.
So
it could potentially almost be like a handful of upcoming indie titles. I say indie, just like double A's or lower. Titles that we probably don't know anything about yet, really, or things that are in the works that some people will know about but have just sort of missed the mass media.
Yeah, looking at the list of games, like they are very much more double A, but I do think they're like critical to the industry for like keeping the gaming calendar ticking over with these games that they might not be as polished and they might not be as like CGI mocap heavy, but there's still a hell of a lot of fun to have. Like Saints Row is a great laugh. Like the MotoGP and racing games, they're not for us, but there's an audience for them and they cater to that audience fantastically. So I'm excited to see what they bring in the future, even if Time Splitters is so far away. But that actually brings me on to my next little bit of news that I wanted to add into here this week. Very much in line with these guys is from the Embracer Group, Saber Interactive. They've announced that coming this autumn is the Crysis Remastered Trilogy. And I've never played a Crysis game. My brother absolutely loves them. He used to play them all. And I remember going into his room and sitting watching him play them thinking, this looks super fun. But for whatever reason, I just never picked it up and played it. And the fact that all three are getting a remaster from Saber, and the Embrace Group, who have a lot of games on Stadia at this point, and the fact it's a collection makes it, I think, in my opinion, the ideal thing to port over to Stadia. So I'm hoping the relationship, the fact that it's a new compilation being brought out, and it's not available, and I'd like to play them personally. So very interested.
And Stadia is quite light on the first-person shooters as well.
That is very true. I actually don't know anything what the games are about. That's the biggest irony about all the Crysis stuff. I presume it takes place in the future?
Yeah, it's in sort of a strange pseudo-future, I suppose, in a way, where you have a war suit that you're wearing that has all sorts of different powers and abilities, akin to stealth, strength. Like just you are essentially a one-man army in Crysis. That is basically the gist of it. But it's a game that is absolutely visually stunning. Like there was always the meme about surprised that anybody's ever played it, considering that it requires such high-end machinery, equipment, stuff like that to play.
When the initial Crysis came out, it was kind of poorly coded for the hardware at the time. So like you need like really top end like graphics cards to actually be able to run it. So it became a bit of a meme, like, oh, but anytime new like graphics card out, but will it run Crysis?
Ah, right. So it's like the cold, windy, wet night in Stoke for the sports analogy. It runs on. It's CryEngine, isn't it? Was this the first? Because the company was Crytek, and I feel like that was formed from the collapse of Free Radical, who were the Time Splitters guys. They formed it. Then I think Crytek collapsed as well, and that's now the pieces were picked up by what now is Embracer and Saber Interactive. So there's some weird cross pollination that happened. But yeah, I can't believe these games just it's one of those similar to us playing Mass Effect, Richie. How a trilogy of games has been made, and I've not played one of them yet. I know they exist. I've just never got around to them. It's same with what's the Activision game? There's Prototype. That's another one. It's another huge title from Activision. I just never played the Prototype games either, which actually reminds me of this.
But fun fact, Chris, the original FarCry stemmed from a demo that was released with the CryEngine.
I mean, you can see the DNA in the movement and the first-person nature of it. Interesting stuff. But again, not confirmed for Stadia. But I think if you're Google and you're making these deals about what games to port over, a collection of 3 titles is it's a no-brainer. It's new to an entire audience, coming to PC and console this autumn. We need games for the platform this autumn. That's just a need, and we know there's a relationship there with the Embracer Group. So get on it. Hopefully, we'll hear something more about that. But again, don't hold your breath. But something I'd like to see, and we've always said before on this podcast that if we think it might come to the platform, and we've got a tangible reason to believe it, we'll talk about it. No Nintendo chatter, no Xbox chatter, but if there's a chance, we'll talk about Bethesda until we're told otherwise as well. Next up on the E3 doc, folks, we have Square Enix. Square Enix Presents. We'll be covering it this coming week as well. And to condense it down, we know from Square Enix they are going to be showing a world premiere from the Adios Montreal team, who are the folks behind the original Tomb Raider reboot 2013. They're also the guys who put out Avengers and Deus Ex. I don't know if they did the most recent one, but they definitely did that alongside that. So a new world premiere from them. Also updates on Marvel's Avengers. My guess is this is the big Black Panther Wakanda reveal. Yeah, it has to be now. The game's gone radio silent for me. And again, I'm a fan of the game.
They have announced that it's Marvel's Avengers expansion. Black Panther War for Wakanda's going to be there. So
this has to be it. Yeah. Fantastic. Babylon's Fall. No idea what that is. Not seeing anything about that so far. So that's there. And Life is Strange True Colours, which we do know is coming to Stadia alongside the original game being remastered. So we'll get some updates on that. And no doubt probably a little surprise as well. So my question to you two is, what are Adios Montreal premiering at this Square Enix Presents event?
I think it's going to be something a new Tomb Raider game, to be honest. Because isn't it it's still Lara Croft's anniversary, yeah?
It is. They did say they're working on a new game because they said it was going to be in a way they're going to try and tie in the original games. So there's rumours it could be a remaster or a remake of the original games, which I'd rather they didn't do in some way. I'd rather they just continue with the reboot with Lara and keep going because those games are fantastic. But it is the same team, so they did the original. They skipped out on Rise, and then they came back to complete Shadow to round off the trilogy. So
I wouldn't mind a full ground up remake of the original Tomb Raider trilogy,
especially with
our new Lara. It's not going to be. I wouldn't make it a 1-to-1 faithful remake, but it's kind of okay. We're going to take the kind of overall pretty much plot of the games and expand upon it, add the current Lara Croft into that.
Yeah.
So as a continuation of where we left her in Shadow.
I think that would be my worry, is that the older ones don't have the kind of the open world, not open world, but it's a kind of segmented open world, that exploration unlocks new areas.
That's why I'd say all the areas that exist in the old games, you keep them, but then you connect them.
Yeah.
Just give me a new Tomb Raider game with Alfred or whatever the waiter guy is.
I have to be able to lock him in the fridge and get a trophy for it.
To be honest with you, I'd be happy with the new Tomb Raider. I'd be happy with the new Deus Ex. I think Deus Ex is an excellent franchise. It'd be really cool to see something new as well. I mean, if they want to delve even deeper, they could go back to look at like the Thief franchise as well. But I really doubt that's an outside speculation. That would be. But yeah, no, Deus Ex or Tomb Raider, I'd be very happy with either.
Well, it's funny enough in the press blog, because they've been quite funny with these. They've said, quote from the website, the question is, what are you showing during the Square Enix Presents? Of course, that's the thing you're probably most eager to learn, right? Rest assured, we have plenty of things that will make you go, ooh, and possibly even ah, but we're going to keep the lineup under wraps for now. After all, we don't want to ruin the fun. So they're quite playful with these Square Enix Presents so far.
I like Square's announcements for these, because it tells us a few things that you can expect. They give you details and like when it's going to be, how long it's going to be. I think they do the announcements right.
Yeah, I think it's loads of fun.
Yeah.
I'll be very interested, just to speculate again, because we love a bit of speculation, is we know they do have a deal with Marvel, and I'd be interested to see if they'd give the Tomb Raider team the chance to actually make a single player Marvel story. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got some kind of... Cool. Could you imagine if they're just like, they're making... And obviously they'll get a bit of shit for the Avengers game, but one thing of the Avengers game is everyone enjoyed the campaign. So I'd be very intrigued to see if they went like, there's the Marvel license, do something with just this one character, make a story with this one character. Doesn't need to be Avengers, it could just be from Marvel's massive roster, and just do something unique and single player focused. But
give
probably
it
not.
The Spider-Man treatment. He's your full game. Focus on absolutely nailing the feel of this character. That's one of the things the Avengers game it fell short on. There's like with Hulk, he didn't feel powerful and stuff like that. It's just like,
give me a Juggernaut game where you can run through walls and shit and just demolish cities, or give me a Nightcrawler game where you can just like dive through the realm and stuff like that.
Nightcrawler would make like an awesome like stealth action game.
I feel like Nightcrawler would be a really good sort of lineup alongside like the Spider-Man franchise, really, for that sort of like that similar sort of style action. In a way.
I always think of
to work with.
Like with them doing Tomb Raider, like just give them a human superhero like Daredevil. Let them do that. Make New York. Have them go out and basically fight people.
And the screen is switched off the entire time.
Yeah, it's all just black.
Captain America.
Yeah. So there's plenty. Again, there's so much stuff we could theorize.
If you go with Captain America, you could actually set it back in like World War II rather than making a modern one, and that could be a unique twist on it.
That would be new. Like do a LA Noir style.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could
fighting down the Red Skull.
So much stuff to do. So we'll find out all of that. Hopefully something new, exciting, and I'll be quite confident in saying it's probably going to come to Stadia, because again we've got Outriders. They'll probably mention something about Outriders as well. That's done amazing numbers. Avengers is again going to keep ticking over, and potentially somewhere in and amongst that there's loads of exciting new news. So then switching. Yeah, maybe we'll see if they've not got another deal with Sony wrapped up in the bag. Next one for everyone out there, it's told you it's going to be a crazy week, folks. Devolver Digital have an event, and for us Stadia fans out there, Devolver Digital are the guys who put out Reigns, the Serious Sam collection in collaboration with Crow Team, Piku Niku, and they've since teased over on Twitter, tongue-in-cheek, Hotline Miami 3. Because there is no Hotline Miami. Well, that's it. The actual Twitter post was they made their announcement for they made their announcement that they were going to be part of E3, and then they tweeted out saying, "Grab Hotline Miami 1 and 2 for 75% off, and get Hotline Miami for 3 for free," and then followed that up with their own like subtweet saying there is no Hotline Miami 3, and that's just the type of humour that I'd expect from Devolver Digital, because they have a right laugh with it. Basically, like, everyone kind of guesses it's coming, but it's not, but it is. And I think it's just funny. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we get Hotline Miami 3 for Stadia by the end of the year.
What would you do if it was actually right? It was like, if you buy Hotline Miami 1 and 2 for 75% off, you get Hotline
just a stealth
Miami
drop.
3 for free. Like,
that would be great.
Yeah. And the follow-up to it is like, there's no Hotline Miami 3, but it's just actually missing the yet.
100%. And then in and amongst that, they have said they're going to announce 4 new games. So We'll see. Okay. 4 new games.
Okay.
Any theories, gents, outside of Hotline Miami, or are Devolver just such a unknown thing?
Yeah, I think Devolver, it's hard to know what you're going to see from them.
It spans so many different, once again, so many different sort of like indie and lower, lesser recognized titles. Give me another Shadow Warrior. Shadow Warrior is a great game. Yeah. In fact, actually, I think it's 3 out. I know Shadow Warrior 3 was coming out, but did it come out? I can't remember.
Who knows? Nobody knows.
Who knows? Anyway,
so that's all of the events, and one of the events we weren't going to cover was going to be the 2K, like the mini segment, because again, E3 don't have a set date for it, time for it yet, which is odd. But either way, thankfully, it's all leaked ahead of time, so we know all the news that should be coming out from the 2K event without having to cover it ourselves. And from there, it would appear we've got a couple of codename leaks that could, again, very much pertain to Stadia. So, codename Daffodil is apparently, again, spoilers if anyone doesn't want to know what's going to be at the event. If you're going to watch it, just tune out to the podcast for maybe 5-10 minutes. Fast forward, do what you need to do. I don't want to ruin anything for you guys out there. But codename Daffodil is a Borderlands spin-off game featuring Tiny Tina, and the final name may quite be Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which Gearbox have recently trademarked. So the name is locked in out there in the internet world. It's going to be in the same style as the mainland Borderlands game, just obviously focusing on different characters. Second to that, we've got codename Coda, which is going to be a new Marvel-themed XCOM game, which is the biggest piece of news that's got me excited. Something very, very different. I'm not traditionally an XCOM kind of guy, but if you slap an IP that I love and adore over the top of it, that could very much get its hooks in me. We have codename Vault, which is going to be a new action game, which, Richie, for you, this is Cthulhu meets Saints Row. I know we played the Cthulhu Saves Christmas game. This is like the next... It's from Hangar 13 as well, so just that premise alone is wild.
Yeah, it's going to be ridiculous.
Absolutely wild. And then rounding that off, there's NBA 2K22 on the cards, which we know the last game was on Stadia, so fingers crossed these annualized sports games start to get their annualized sports titles on the platform. It's going to be a massive... shot in your own foot, I think, if these games don't come out. If we don't get FIFA, if we don't get NBA, we don't get the PGA Golf, that says a lot, I think, unfortunately.
I think they have to get them, even if they don't sell great. Yeah. And they have to be day and day, because these are the sort of games that people expect that to be on all platforms, so they give you platform legitimacy.
Definitely. So out of all those code names, guys, Daffodil, Coda and Vault, what tickles your fancy the most? Over to you, Tom.
Definitely Coda. I think Marvel and XCOM is a great sort of mashup. I'm interested to see how they do it though, because XCOM typically has like a character permadeath sort of thing. So if you were to die in battle, you lose that character. So I'm quite interested to see whether you're going to have sort of like generic troops, so to speak, but also have like key figures fighting alongside them. Whether it's it's like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or whether it's something a little bit more than that. Who knows? But yeah, for me, it'd be a new Marvel game. Absolutely.
Richie?
I'm torn. I actually like the name code name Daffodil just for a Tiny Tina game. Full stop. Never mind Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. But I don't know. I'm kind of interested in codename Vault, but again, my opinions on these might change drastically once I've seen the game. We've literally got like 2 lines of text for each of these to describe them, so it's like hard to say.
Yeah,
at least we don't have to wait
by them all.
Yeah, we certainly don't have to wait long. That's the best thing with these leaks. They'll all be confirmed by the end of the week. I'll say next week, Monday the 14th of June, actually. The Take-Two Interactive one is, which is probably why we're not covering it, because it's a work day. It's a school night. Yeah. In regards to that'll be, again, Marvel and Disney reaching out to different developers to make games, so that now that they've kind of got their own Disney Marvel Studios kind of publishing license, they're rolling it out, and it's interesting to see them going to different publishers and developers for different specific genres of game.
Well, that's what we want to see. That's what I want to see do with Star Wars as well. Just like, you want to make a racing game, give it a Codemasters.
Yeah. Borderlands game? I don't know about... Tom, you're, I guess, our biggest Borderlands fan. Is it too much too soon for another Borderlands game, especially in a similar vein?
Not really, I wouldn't say. I mean, Tiny Tina's a very unique character in the sense that she's batshit crazy.
Yeah.
It fits very well into the Borderlands universe, and she was definitely a fan favorite from Borderlands 2 as well.
Yeah.
This is more of a throwback to 2 rather than 3. She did feature in 3, but nowhere near as big as
she was older in 3 as well, wasn't she?
Yes,
Remember
she
that,
was.
Because
in Borderlands 2, she's just a child with rocket launchers everywhere. It's like
pretty much. And there was a whole DLC of like a Dungeons and Dragons spin-off.
Oh, that was so good.
Really good.
Yeah.
So
it could do very well. It could do very well
because they had the pre-sequel, didn't they? So they have tried like little mini interstitial like spin-offs of the game as such. But maybe this could be its own thing.
The pre-sequel, I'd say, is a mainline Borderlands game. It just happened to be set between 1 and 2.
Is it part of the collection?
Borderlands.
Yes, I think so.
Yes, it is. It is. Yeah, I think Tales from the Borderlands is probably the furthest you're getting away from the main Borderlands story. But then if you look at the DLCs, even though they are linked direct to the games, they're more abstract compared to the games themselves.
It's almost like what Ubisoft sometimes does with Assassin's Creed, where they keep things reasonably grounded, but then they just throw everything out the window when it comes to the DLC. Let's go ridiculous.
Yeah. That is a common trend, certainly. And speaking of ridiculous, that Cthulhu meets Saints Row game could just be absolute batshit crazy with octopus alien people ripping people's faces off.
It could be absolutely amazing, but it could also be absolutely terrible.
It could indeed.
Again, Hangar 13 are the guys who made like the Mafia games, so I think about it more from the perspective of
that's why I recognise the name. I was like, Hangar 13. I was like, I can't think of what they do, and that's because they've done nothing since September for Stadia. Wait for it, guys. Where are we at? Where's my countdown for the update? Right. So Mafia Definitive Edition, which is confirmed as coming to Stadia, launched on other consoles September 25th, 2020, which was now 254 days ago. Come on, Hangar 13. Pull your finger out and deliver what you said you were going to do. And Stadia, you can give them a kick up the backside as well to get it on. Like, if we see this game before Mafia, that's just...
I mean...
chuckles. It's probably not even them porting it. It's probably a porting studio that are working on it. But
what I see of it is it's going to be more along the lines of a Lovecraftian horror / open world Mafia style, where you have access to like dark magics and shit like that, where you can summon Cthulhu like demons and things. That's what I'm expecting of it, but it could be quite, as you say, batshit crazy.
Could be very cool.
Yeah.
Right then, moving on away from the E3 news. Actually, that's it. That's it for the schedule. But don't forget, if you want to check it out, check all of our live reactions out. We will be going live on Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday for 4 days worth of Sounds of Stadia coverage of all these events, starting with Summer Games Fest, 7pm BST time on Thursday the 10th, followed on Friday, Saturday and Sunday for all of your gaming news rounded up. On to some actual gaming news then that we do know about, aside from leaks and E3 chatter. Battlefield 6 will be having its big reveal on June the 9th. Hopefully we'll learn indeed if it's coming to Stadia or not. That'll be great to know. Not really much more to cover on that other than we've got a date. It's funnily not part of EA's EA Play Live, which is part of E3, but it's also happening a month later, which is very odd in its own right.
I wonder if they just wanted this is going to be a big game they want to just give a bit more time to, and if they put it in with their actual E3 stuff, it just everything else just get washed out a bit, so they'll just separate it out.
Certainly.
It's akin to Call of Duty getting its own event rather than having Activision announce anything.
Very true. So hopefully we'll see that Stadia and EA logo at the end, because again we're waiting on 2 more games, so always a chance. And speaking of games that could probably do with a bit more time, or their own time to themselves, we've got Outright Games bringing us Fast and Furious Spy Racers Rise of, I'm not going to say it because it's spelled stupidly, 1-3-R. It's supposed to say shifter, I get that, but there is no reason for the 1 and the 3 in there whatsoever, unless it's supposed to be from a gear stick.
It's not the mid-2000s anymore. We've moved away from
we don't speak in lead speak anymore.
Yeah,
even then, it doesn't make any sense. Like, literally, unless they're trying to make the F and the T like a gear stick, and the 1 and the 3 are like the points of the gear stick. literally, it's not the 13th entry in the franchise or anything.
I'm guessing Shifter is a character because in the name.
Oh, maybe, yeah. He's like some stupid racer.
Like a hacker.
Wow.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Like, so actually, let's break it down rather than just critique it. This game won't be for me. After the atrocity that was the last Fast and the Furious game that came out on PS4 last year, this doesn't fill me with any particular hope. But Fast and the Furious Space Spy Racer, not Space Raider, although they'll be going to space in the movie soon. That's the next year. Is based on the animated Netflix show Fast and Furious Spy Racers and will be coming this November. The game is an action racer and is being developed by 3D Clouds. Will feature voice talents from the series. Get some Vin Diesel in there, his Baby Groot impressions. Players will be able to race against AI opponents. It's an odd thing to add in there. Take it global with online or join forces with friends in couch co-op. Vehicle skins will be customizable. There'll be 15 spy gear weapons for players that are inspired by the Netflix show. Whilst and then there's a trailer again to watch. It looks more cartoon aesthetic.
Yeah, it looks like a Fast and Furious arcade/kart racer. That's what it looks like.
And you know what? Yeah. I'm happy to play it, and I'm sure I'll have a great time. And it's probably going to be better than the Super Series one.
This game.
What if it's pro? You not have a race if it's pro. You could be. What would your code name racer hacker name be?
Obviously be R1CH.
I actually think the game looks kind of terrible, and I think the Fast and Furious franchise is kind of terrible. So it's like this is very much not for me in the slightest.
Yeah, I saw a clip the other day of Vin Diesel shooting like a grappling hook as he was going off a cliff, and he kind of spins round to avoid a missile or something, and then the car lands and does a big roll, and it's a pile of crumpled mess, and both of them are sat in the car absolutely fine. And it's like the franchise has gone from such different routes to what it is. But that's a whole... We don't have time to talk about that, but the game is coming. Look out for it this fall. But either way, switching over from that to some actual studio news... the guys over at Crayta, Unit 2 Games, have been acquired by Facebook Gaming. So an interesting one. Facebook have, again, been doing a couple of studio acquisitions lately, but out of nowhere, they've jumped in and bought Unit 2 Games, which, of course, Crayta was a Stadia exclusive until it went over to the Epic Games Store. Before Christmas? After Christmas? I feel like it was recently, but it was probably also a long time ago. Unit 2, of course, has been around for a few years now, and it launched last July. Annoyingly enough, a lot of the articles, again, use this as an opportunity to have a jab at Stadia, which is like, just let it go. It's like, Stadia Games and Entertainment closed in February. It's like, this has nothing to do with Stadia Games and Entertainment. Also saying...
published by Stadia Games and Entertainment.
Actually, it might have been because it was exclusive, but... I don't think so. But either way, it says in the article as well, this one's from TechCrunch, they said about the audience has likely been limited due to the exclusivity deal on Google. It's like, it's not limited, it's available to everyone who has a Gmail account. It's more open and accessible than anywhere else. But we digress. Great news for the games over at Unit 2. Hopefully Facebook will pump loads of money into the studio, and they'll allow Crayta to expand into probably what we all expected it and wanted it to be. And I think Epic will have added loads to it. But yeah, Facebook
I just
gaming.
wish it wasn't Facebook. I kind of don't really want Facebook involved in gaming, to be honest.
You're a MySpace kind of guy.
I can see a world where Facebook gaming becomes more like a cloud gaming platform where you can literally go on your browser, log into your Facebook account, and boot up Crayta and play games. It's their way to try to get the Fortnite kiddies in, I think.
Yeah. So to quote from the article as well. This is the Facebook Gaming VP Vivek Sharma said, Crayta has maximized current cloud streaming technology to make game creation more accessible and easy to use. We plan to integrate Crayta's creation toolset into Facebook Gaming's cloud platform to instantly deliver new experiences on Facebook. So essentially it does sound like they want in on that kind of Minecraft Roblox where they see Crayta as an opportunity to do that and maybe make it uniquely Facebook, whereas obviously Minecraft and Roblox are unto themselves. Where do you guys sit with Roblox? I have no clue what the hell it is, and I know a lot of other people I've heard this past week in the industry. This thing's on like publicly traded markets worth $3 billion plus, and yet I don't even in my mind's eye have an idea of what it looks like.
Yeah, I don't have
Tom,
any
do your students play Roblox? Is that
yes, actually they do, and it's again, it's the best way to kind of put it is we've played and experienced Crayta, which is a very Fortnite-esque coding, world building, game building sort of platform. Roblox is essentially the equivalent of Minecraft with coding and game building and so on. But the graphics, I would say, are arguably even worse than lower tier than Minecraft. It is very sort of like, if you imagine almost like your it's like your Duplo level sort of characters. But yeah, it's interesting, and
it's huge.
It attracts it's massive. And
this is what I imagine Facebook would love Crayta to become. And I think as the younger generations come through and they're more inclined to like creation tools, like clearly Minecraft has spawned, and then Roblox by proxy as well. It could be great for Crayta. And again, I know, Tom, you took us through. Go check it out on the YouTube channel. We've got some breakdowns of all us three jump in and you take us through a tutorial of how to make stuff in Crayta. It's great. And again, it's still on Stadia with crossplay. So the more players, the more people who get hands on it, the better it is for all you players out there. So, good stuff. We also got this week a date for Ys 9. Is it 9? Monstrum
Ys
Nox?
9, yeah.
I know you're really excited about this one, Tom, as well. Richie, you're currently playing.
Yeah, I jumped back into it.
What got you back in? Was it the sheer audio failure of Mass Effect, or did you have an itch?
Well, I was playing Mass Effect, and the audio issues for me are absolutely catastrophic. Basically, make the game completely unplayable. When I was playing, the game just had no atmosphere. Guns were set to like 100,000 times the audio of everything else. It was just a buggy mess, and it's like, I'm just not enjoying my experience here, and these issues are ruining the game for me. So like, I'll jump out, I'll come back to it when it's patched. And then it was like, well, what do I play? So I played Horizon Zero Dawn for one night. It was like, really enjoyed it. It was like, next day I was like, I don't fancy that. And I was just looking through my Stadia line. I was like, I was really enjoying these. I'll jump back into it.
Jump back in. Wonderful. So July 6th is the date. So not that far away. At the time of recording, it is exactly 1 month away. So fun stuff. Are these the ones that are related? Like they're actually chaptered stories, or are they all individual?
No, they're individuals. Yeah.
Right.
They have the same protagonist and everything, but it's basically like a new. It's like almost like Final Fantasy, where it's a new story.
Standalone stories.
Yeah.
And is this day and date with the global launch, or is this just Stadia getting it a little bit later? I'm not sure.
Good chance.
I feel like this is the newest game in the series. I don't know if it's out yet.
It came out on 26th of September 2019.
Okay, so it is. Never mind then. July 6th, folks. Not long to wait. Final stories of the week as we wind down this episode then, ladies and gentlemen. WatchDogs Legion has got some news incoming for it. There is WatchDogs Legion of the Dead. It's only available on PC now, but they have confirmed on the Ubisoft forums that it will be coming to PC and Stadia eventually. Really weird one as someone who's just recently finished Watch Dogs. It's getting a zombie mode, guys, where up to 4 players work in co-op to move around London infested with zombies and work as a team to gather resources, survive the night, and essentially click loads of heads and pop some zombie skulls open.
This Watch Dogs meets Left 4 Dead.
I was just thinking, is it more like you head down to the local pub and just bar the door and play some darts, which Chris...
Watch Dogs meets Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead. They've explicitly said on the blog, in a London filled with zombies, Albion soldiers and Clan Kelly enforcers are just 2 of the factions in the game, are hoarding valuable supplies that you must get your hands on to ensure the survival of your crew. No matter if you're going in solo, with friends, or up to 3 players via public matchmaking, you will have to be smart with your resources, your tactics, and plan ahead to gather supplies, find power-ups, and extract from London alive. Could be great fun. I've read some of the...
It sounds better than actual Watch Dogs.
If this was just a zombie game in London, could have been great. Hopefully the achievements won't be broken on this particular entry. But they've said it's going to come with some future content as well. Didn't expect this one. It wasn't as part of the roadmap. I'm always down for zombies. I'm disappointed Red Dead Redemption 2 hasn't had zombies added in yet, because Undead Nightmare was fantastic for the original Red Dead Redemption. So yeah, give me some zombie fix. And if we all are all trialing Ubisoft Plus, It could be a great live stream for the three of us. Go in and just run around, and it's something about, I think, playing as a team, similar to Left 4 Dead, Richie, where when one of your team gets surrounded, attacked, and separated from the group, that's where the humour kicks in, and you need to go help them or abandon them to their fate. It's lots of fun. So I thought you were going to say something there.
So I was going to say, I mean, I'm not actually trialing Ubisoft Plus just yet, but I am waiting. I'm going to sign up just before the sale ends.
Me too. 60% plan.
I got in early, but you know what? I don't regret it, because at this moment in time, I think I'm still riding 3 months free pro from like a code I got from Lenovo, so I don't begrudge paying a couple pound extra for Ubisoft Plus.
I completely forgot about that. Completely forgot about the fact that I'm not paying for Stadia Pro right now.
Thanks, Lenovo.
Thanks, Lenovo. I might be more inclined to buy a Lenovo product in the future because of that deal. Thank you. Speaking of things in the future that are also very odd but could benefit you, the next game that's been rated for Stadia is, and I'll right up your street, Richie, Spirit Lucky's Big Adventure from DreamWorks Studios. You play as a person on a horse, I think. I don't know what this game's even about. Inspired by the upcoming DreamWorks it's not even out yet, feature film Spirit Untamed. This new open world action adventure game offers players a chance to go on a wild adventure and explore the wonders of the frontier with Lucky and her beloved wild Mustang Spirit. The original story celebrates themes of adventure, friendship, and the special bond between a girl and her horse, as Lucky teams up with best friends Abigail and Prue to embark on a fun-filled quest, in fact, the hidden treasure of Miradiro. Be lucky, bond with Spirit by Red Dead Redemption.
Just without the murder and the gun. The robbery.
You love to see it. Again, we've had an absolute slew of games rated for Stadia that are very much aimed towards a younger audience. We've got the dinosaur one, Gigantosaurus, from the other week. We've got Scrat's Nutty Adventure or whatever it was called. They all have big adventure or something adventure in the title. I've noticed that.
I do notice that none of these have actually come out yet. So I'm wondering whether they're looking at introducing some sort of Stadia Kids plan. You know, akin to like YouTube, YouTube Kids, Netflix Kids, and stuff like that. I'm wondering whether they're looking to build up a library exclusive.
That's something they could announce at E3. Oh wait.
Tom, you might be onto something. Could you imagine if it was... You know, we've theorised before on a SideQuest about YouTube Premium and Stadia combined. What if you're onto something and it's YouTube Kids with this Kids Pass combined?
Yeah.
So if you get kids in the door with Lucky Adventures and Scrap from Ice Age, then as they come of age and want to play older style games, Stadia's already in their mindset.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, I didn't click to play.
Yeah. Yep.
You're watching a video of some young girl on a horse on YouTube Kids, and you click through, and then now you're playing it.
Richie's just scrolling through his bookmarks and his bar.
And of course, we all see parents out there with their kids. What are the kids doing? They're sat playing on the phone in the pram. They're sat in the restaurant playing on the phone. In my opinion, terrible parenting, but that's my opinion. I don't have any kids. But if they've got that phone at such a young age and Stadia is in that ecosystem, then when they start to become what we would call as a more mature gamer, I guess, and Lucky's horse riding tales doesn't quite hit that fix, and they do want to play some Red Dead Redemption, it's already there, and they don't need to factor in asking mum or dad for a £400 console because it just works on their phone.
It could be a good entry point, actually. It could be a good
play that long game. Speaking of entry points, then, that's our last game story of the week. And as we start to wind down this episode, we do have some Stadia news. So entry points, folks, Stadia's referral program is now live. We covered it a few weeks back as part of an APK breakdown. And the referral program is up. You can dish it out. And I believe you get a month free and your friends get up to a month free of Pro also for subscribing. We mentioned, I think, with the fancy icons, you get an exclusive avatar.
Yeah.
If you recommend a friend, that's now live. Check that one out within your Stadia app. Next up, Stadia have also added a unique little feature to save notes on your friend list. So I can go into there and I can see Tom's name and Richie's name, and underneath I can attach a note of Techie Teacher himself and Man of Many Pixels. So you guys both thought I was going to go somewhere with that. And I just said your names.
Yeah, I did.
But I guess people can leave whatever notes they want to leave. Very random, very surprising, but a nice little feature, I guess.
Feature,
yeah, it's nice. Like if someone's abusive to you online, you can put a little memo saying this guy's a dickhead, do not talk to. Anything like that, feel free to use at your leisure. And the final one as well, there is another APK breakdown from our friends over at 9 to 5 Google, the good Carl Bradshaw, again breaking down this information. Nothing much, we've got some more store filters coming to the Stadia app. There's some more updates on voice chat, which we know has been coming for quite some time now. It's about time to get around to fixing that. A couple of little updates on bridge mode and some preparation for audio adjustments, and more importantly, Google TV, because again, first half of 2021 currently has about 24 days left in it, so the time's on the clock, Stadia, for getting that feature rolled out.
That's why I think Stadia should be at E3. You look at things like bridge mode, and you look at the Chromecast Ultra with Google TV, or whatever they're calling it nowadays, Sabrina, the Teenage Witch.
Yeah, coming across.
There's so much Stadia could put into an E3 press conference. They just don't seem to be, and it's like, why? Shout about things like click to play, shout about things like crowd choice, all these cool, unique features to the platform. Mm-hmm. Just let people play.
Definitely does.
Show it to people. Show it off.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's been so long since the Connect. I feel like they just haven't gave the general public an update on what Stadia is in so long. And if they're not at an event where all eyes of the industry are on them, it could be a missed opportunity. But I guess we'll find out that. It may be part of the E3 schedule for all we know, because they haven't filled us in on anything. And E3 haven't even got dates and times locked in yet. So maybe we'll get a stealth drop of a Connect right sandwich between Microsoft and Nintendo this coming weekend. But fear not, because we here at Sounds of Stadia will be covering all of that, and we'll be summarising in next week's episode number 90, gentlemen.
Wow.
9-0. We are within stretching distance of the big 100, which is crazy to think. But as I mentioned, do keep it locked to the channel, subscribe, hit that like bell, and change the bell to all notifications so you're kept in the loop for when we do go live this week, because as I mentioned, we have Summer Game Fest coming up this Thursday, 7 PM British Standard Time, where we jump in with Jeff Keighley to cover all of his exciting game announcements and world premieres that he likes to put out there. We've also got our Koch Media, random name media announcement, where we're going to be breaking down anything the Embracer Group brings to the table. We've got our Ubisoft Forward on June the 12th, 8 o'clock, British Standard Time as always, for all of our exciting Stadia Rainbow Six Siege news. That's the big one that we've got locked in, because we know they support Stadia really, really well. Followed up with Square Enix Presents on June 13th, which it sounds like a lot of coverage when you start listing them one by one. We'll be there in some way, shape or form, and hopefully you'll be there in the chat to watch along and enjoy all of the announcements and all the excitement at the same time. So just to summarise, before we round up this week's show, our E3 coverage is Summer of Games Fest, Thursday 10th, 7 PM. Koch Media, Friday 11th, 8 PM. Ubisoft Forward, maybe with a bit of Gearbox thrown in there, we don't quite know yet. Saturday 12th, 8 PM. And then Square Enix Presents, Sunday 13th, 8 PM again. The Square Enix one, I should point out, actually starts at 1:15 the hour, but it's just so random, I rounded it up to 8, so we'll just go live a little bit earlier ahead of that event. But that is it for episode number 89, possibly the longest Stadia podcast we've done, as part of the longest running Stadia podcast this side of Google Maps. Thank you once again to my two lovely co-hosts over there in the co-host chairs, Tom and Richie. And a special shout out to all of our members again who are over there on youtube.com/Sounds of Stadia, who've joined our membership program and support us that little bit further, just like you guys can. From as little as 99 pence, you can get our SideQuest episode up to 6 days early. You get exclusive stickers and badges to use in our chats, and sometimes exclusive access to our first look videos too. Thank you especially to Dwemer and Simon Foster for recently joining the membership program. That takes us up to nearly 40 memberships now, which is awesome. Wow. You're all amazing out there. Thank you so much. And you guys get SideQuest early, which this week, Richie, we're covering.
Well, would you believe that we're covering E3?
I really would.
It's a predictions episode, so For members, it's going to be fine because it'll come out literally the day we're recording it today. But for non-members, we've already probably covered a few of the press conferences, so that's going to be an interesting watch.
Well, I
you
think
can tick them off at home.
Yeah, I think make a drinking game out of it. I think for this week, we should put SideQuest out on the Wednesday, so it's actually out prior to the Thursday events kicking off. So our lovely YouTube viewers out there, who tune in on free feeds, you get that content while it's still relevant, albeit for 24 plus hours. But if you want it a little bit early and you want a bit more time to digest, hit that join button below and support us that bit further. And just like Ubisoft Plus, you can cancel at any time. We just appreciate the love and support. Thank you very, very much for tuning in this week, watching, listening along, wherever you access our content. My name's been Chris.
I've been Tom.
And I've been Richie.
Thank you, folks. That was Sounds of Stadia, episode number 89. Have a great E3 and Summer Games Fest week. Hope you get all the exciting announcements that you want. And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.